This exquisitely graceful woman is already 88 years old, but with the help of this magical medical device, she is able to maintain eternal youth, preserving a firm and supple youthful figure. And this fantasy machine that can achieve the dream of immortality is merely a common household appliance in every wealthy family's home. In the future world, the excessive development of technology has led to the rampant spread of diseases, causing the Earth to finally collapse under the burden and become a wasteland. In the year 2124, humanity has established a heavenly paradise-like utopia on a floating space station above the Earth, continuing to enjoy an even more lavish lifestyle. In the future, the excessive development of technology has ravaged the Earth, leaving it a wasteland. The wealthy elite have established a utopian space station above the ruined planet, enjoying a lavish lifestyle out of reach of the impoverished masses left behind. The poor children find solace in storybooks depicting animals foreign to their blighted world, wistfully gazing up at the distant space station, dreaming of one day reaching that promised paradise. However, resistance stirs among the oppressed. Organized underground groups help the desperate poor acquire the means to stow away on flights to the utopia. Though most are ruthlessly intercepted and destroyed, some skilled pilots miraculously evade the station's defenses and succeed in reaching the celestial haven. Upon disembarking, the first action of all passengers is to rush towards the lavish villas of the wealthy elite. Their sole purpose is for their children to rest in the ordinary household appliances of the rich, freeing them from ailments. Though all the stowaway poor are ultimately apprehended and deported back to Earth, the mere 1% chance of success still compels them to take the risk. They too crave to acquire a temporary tourist ticket, driven by the same dream. Like the others, Marcus harbors the same dream. From a young age, he has diligently saved, toiling relentlessly on the factory assembly line, afraid to miss a single day. Despite the frequent mockery and ridicule from his fellow villagers, it is nothing compared to the prospect of a new life in the utopia. Marcus even resorts to snatching coins from children to expedite his savings. As Marcus steadily nears his dream, tragedy strikes. While operating the machinery, the hatch suddenly becomes jammed. Fearing wage deductions, he violates protocol and forces his way in. But the moment he secures the tray, the door slams shut on him. Once the full process is completed, the hatch is reopened, and the robots drag Marcus out like a lifeless dog. Though his consciousness remains lucid for now, the fatal radiation exposure will claim his life within 5 days. The factory manager finally approaches, glancing through the glass before ordering his subordinates to remove Marcus, careful not to soil his factory. Following instructions, the robots produce a liability waiver, which the disoriented Marcus signs. They then toss him a strong painkiller to ease his suffering in his final days. Abandoned by the factory, Marcus knows he has only one path left to survival. With his friend's accompaniment, he ventures into the local gang's territory, hoping to purchase a ticket to the utopia on an installment plan. But the gang leader, Jack, coldly rejects him with a mocking laugh, dismissing Marcus. Facing certain death, Marcus lays all on the line, for this is his last chance. Hearing that Marcus has only days left, Jack's eyes light up. He needs someone willing to risk it all for a big job. The two strike a deal. Jack requires Marcus to infiltrate the utopia and kidnap a wealthy resident, downloading their brain data to procure the access codes. But Marcus identifies an easier mark, the very factory manager who discarded him, whose implanted ID indicates he is from the utopia. However, the weakened Marcus will need to be properly equipped before undertaking the kidnapping operation. The third-generation exoskeleton suit can interface with the nervous system, transforming the human into a cyborg and granting machine-like strength to the flesh and blood. After 88 hours of manual installation by a skilled surgeon, Marcus emerges reborn. The professional-grade mech suit combined with specialized weaponry making him a formidable force. Meanwhile, the factory manager is preparing to depart for the space station, unaware that he has become the prey, guarded by two golden robots. But their ship soon suffers an engine failure, crash landing and skidding 800 meters before coming to a stop. Thankfully, the robust safety systems leave the interior unharmed. Scanning the outside, the manager spots the lurking bandits and orders the robots to eliminate them. Under the barrage of the robots' firepower, Marcus and his friend are forced to take cover, waiting for an opening when the machines pause to reload. They swiftly destroy the robots, but as they use a laser cutter to breach the ship's hatch to capture the manager, they discover another robot hidden on the other side. The teammate taking cover behind a car immediately opens fire with an automatic rifle, but instead of taking down the robot, accidentally hits the manager. Facing the formidable machine, Marcus chooses to engage it head-on, a climactic clash between the robot and the cyborg. Although the robot's raw strength far exceeds Marcus's, it lacks the battle tactics and intelligence unique to humans. Ultimately, Marcus overpowers and snaps its neck. They immediately pounced on the manager, connecting his brain to Marcus' neural interface just before his last breath. They race to download the data, but to their bewilderment, the manager's encrypted brain contains only gibberish. Little do they know, this code will upend the entire human order. For the manager is not just the factory boss, but the original designer of the Utopia systems. In recent years, the factory's poor performance has led to mounting losses. To attract investment, the manager colluded with the Utopia's military commander, Ami, who arranged funding in exchange for the manager resetting the Utopia systems and installing Ami as the new leader. The garbled code in the manager's brain is in fact the programming to reset the Utopia systems. Ami, closely monitoring the incident from the Utopia, dispatches his most skilled special operatives to hunt down the intruders and prevent the data from being exposed. Led by the ruthless Roth, this band of mercenaries is notorious for their violent excesses and legal hunting of human prey. To avoid damaging the data in Marcus' neural interface, Roth personally engages them. The already weakened Marcus is no match, quickly sustaining a grievous wound to his abdomen. Just as Roth raises his blade to sever Marcus' head, the friend leaps out to pull Marcus back from the brink of death, only to be impaled by Roth's sword, paying the ultimate price. As Marcus instinctively retaliates with a burst of gunfire, it is all deflected by Roth's protective barrier. Devastated, Marcus watches his only friend bleed out, but this is no time for grief. Roth emerges unharmed as the enemy ship approaches to extract him. Amidst the billowing dust, Marcus flees, crawling under a wagon concealed by a litter of piglets to evade the ship's scans. But soon, he is cornered by a drone. Tearing off the side mirror, Marcus carefully aims and destroys the drone's camera, then darts to the local gang's territory. Recognizing Marcus as a walking treasury, the gangsters dare not open fire. Marcus demands that Jack immediately transport him to the space station, but Jack reveals that after the data breach, the station is under lockdown, no one in or out. Calming Marcus, Jack connects his neural interface, revealing a tangled web of encrypted code. Though others may not recognize its significance, the genius hacker Jack instantly grasps the true value of the encrypted code. It holds the key to rebooting the space station and converting all its inhabitants into citizens of the Utopia. However, Marcus cares little for this revelation, focused solely on finding a cure for his radiation-ravaged body. Seeing an opportunity, Jack secretly plants a tracker on him, allowing Marcus to depart unimpeded. Later, Marcus locates the damaged drone and, using its broken camera, lures Roth's team. Pulling the pin from a grenade, he demands that Roth transport him to the Utopia, threatening to destroy the invaluable data in his mind. Roth has no choice but to acquiesce, cordially inviting Marcus aboard the ship. To Marcus' surprise, he encounters his childhood friend Lucy, accompanied by a young girl. It appears Roth has meticulously prepared to lure Marcus out. As Marcus boards, the global flight restrictions are lifted, and the ship heads directly for the Utopia. But just before landing, Roth suddenly crouches down, beginning to sexually harass Lucy. Marcus, unable to contain his rage, leaps to intervene. In the ensuing struggle, Roth and his men manage to restrain the enraged Marcus. During the commotion, the grenade slips from Marcus' grasp and tumbles to the deck. Shielding the child, Marcus is caught in the ensuing blast, causing the ship to lose control and plummet into the wealthy district. Thanks to his exoskeleton, Marcus emerges unscathed, but the child he shields lies unconscious, already gravely ill with leukemia. Lucy rushes the child into the nearest mansion, placing them in the medical pod, but without legal citizenship, she cannot activate the treatment. After a brief delay, Lucy is stunned by Roth's men, while Marcus is also apprehended by the arriving security forces. The fate of Marcus, with the invaluable data in his mind, looks bleak. As for Roth, though his face is partially destroyed by the grenade, the advanced medical pod's 3D printing technology seamlessly restores his features in mere seconds. The stage is set for a miraculous recovery. Following the electrical shock, the man was reborn, and the first act of Roth upon his own resurrection was revenge. Having sustained injury to his brain nerves during the medical repair process, Roth's emotions grew increasingly erratic. Confronted with Amy's accusations and insults, Roth dispatched her without hesitation. Later, Rode ordered his men to clear the building of all occupants, determined to turn the Nirvana space into his own kingdom. He himself was armed to the teeth, with the sole intention of finding Marcus and getting what he had in his head to avenge his previous humiliation. Meanwhile, Marcus, supported by his external exoskeleton, quickly broke through the lock. Then he brutally beat the medical staff on site, pulled an 8-meter-long computer cable coil out of his throat, and then ate all the remaining painkillers, instantly feeling like he was high on adrenaline. He found Lucy's cell, beat the guards to a pulp, and directly took Lucy and her daughter away, but did not leave with them, as he still had his own plan. He told Lucy to take her daughter directly to the wealthy man's medical pod, and that he would take care of the rest. As soon as the two left, another airlock opened, and it was Jack and his group who had tracked him down based on the tracker on Marcus. The convergence of the two groups, however, unexpectedly gave Rhodes some time, as he no longer needed to hunt them down one by one. A single dart was fixed onto their bodies, and then he activated the remote control. Watching helplessly as his teammates were blown to pieces right before his eyes, Marcus was enraged and picked up a machine gun, spraying bullets, but to no avail, as Rhodes' protective shield was able to withstand all attacks. When Marcus was exhausted, Rhodes leaped forward again, confidently drawing his battle sword from his back and swinging it down towards Marcus. Seeing the powerful strike blocked, Rhodes was about to deliver another blow when Jack suddenly rushed out, tackling Marcus to the ground. The sword was also knocked off the bridge, but Jack was no match for the half-machine soldiers and was quickly subdued. Thus began the third confrontation between the two arch-enemies, the climactic showdown between the protagonist and the villain. However, the intense, hand-to-hand combat scene that one might have imagined did not materialize. Not only was Marcus injured, but as an assembly line worker, how could he be a match for a professional mercenary? Yet Marcus still did not give up, prepared to take Rhodes down with him. But unexpectedly, he managed to disconnect Rhodes' exoskeleton from his neural interface. Without the support of the exoskeleton, Marcus completely overpowered Rhodes. It was then Rhodes' turn to choose mutually assured destruction. He pulled the pin on a grenade and hooked it onto Marcus' waist. At this, Marcus used his last ounce of strength to throw Rhodes off the bridge. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jack had successfully cracked the hatch, but was left dumbfounded by what happened next. Due to an unexpected event, the Elysium mainframe had collapsed. If the data in Marcus' head were to be downloaded now, it would mean brain death. Even the medical machines could not save him. However, Marcus no longer cared and resolutely pressed the confirm button. With the transmission of lines of code and the end of the countdown, Elysium was rebooted. In just half a minute, the world had changed. On the other side, the girl lying in the medical pod also gained a new identity. As the device rotated, the leukemia cells in her body were instantly eliminated, and she became a healthy child. And she was not the only lucky one. Due to the reboot of Elysium, all humans became the new citizens of this promised land. The system automatically detected unhealthy humans on Earth and immediately dispatched all the spaceships to provide aid and rescue. After that, the new life in Elysium was no longer the exclusive privilege of the wealthy, nor was it merely the aspiration of the poor.